McLarens were together. The Alpines were also somewhat together.
Yeah.
There was an Alpine and Aston Martin sandwich going on for a
Yeah.
while, and then there was some William got introduced as well in there.
They were poking each other around. Hello and welcome back to another episode with F1 Fan Fiction. We are your hosts. I am Akash.
And I'm Sarang.
And let's get into it. Monza, yeah man, I feel like since the past 3 or 4 years has been amazingly surprising.
Yeah.
You know, these so-called, in quotes, other drivers have been on podium. It doesn't disappoint in terms of the entertainment it gives. And yesterday was none less. Before we move on to other stuff, let's just get done with the main event of yesterday. Max versus Ham.
As usual. I mean, yeah. It was a weird accident, actually. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was really confused what's going on. Like, I see one car on top of another. Like, that's not exactly how cars.
Rivals have tried to bout each other out, but this was a unique way. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it was like, it felt like, you tried to kill me, I'm gonna try to kill you now. Kind of a thing.
It was almost literally like Halo for the win, but otherwise it was all on his head.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's, time and again Halo has proved that that has been such an awesome innovation in general. I'm glad like nothing bad happened, but I'm kind of glad that they both got out, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, yes. Otherwise, yesterday wouldn't have been as exciting on the podium as it was. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's take a look at this main event first, and then we can address the rest of the race. So, what are your thoughts, Akash? Please.
I mean, before I get into it, I wanna put it out there. I mean, for folks who've been listening to us since day one, know, or at least I am not a big Hamilton fan. I mean, sure, he's a good driver, he's a great driver and everything, but yeah, anytime he's gotten into that fighting spirit of championship titles, he's crashed into his opponents. So yeah, having said that, I think yesterday he was definitely not at fault. Stewards have been saying something, fans have been saying something, but any pit exit you see any, and I mean like all 20 drivers, even Nikita for that matter, like any pit exits you take a look at, drivers don't want to go behind anyone because that is gonna affect their timing in terms of overtaking. So first of all, Hamilton was totally right in terms of trying to get ahead of whoever the next driver was. In this case, Max.
Right.
Then he was constantly ahead. As I think I've seen this multiple times, he was constantly ahead. Max was obviously trying to be aggressive because he doesn't want to concede the position. They were going into it, and I feel like by the time Max maybe realized he needs to push back on this, he was already quite into turn 2. I don't want to say Hamilton pushed him in or whatever happened. It was a racing situation. So Max was quite into it. And by the time he realized he needs to get out of it or go for it, I think the sausage curve took the better of it, which probably launched his car to be end up in the position that it was. But Max could have sort of not been Max from 2019-2020 and tried to take it a bit lightly. But I guess, I mean, the emotions are running so high at that point. You're fighting for championship. You don't want to concede a position. You don't want to be left behind. So overall, but I still feel Max is at fault. The penalty is somewhat justified, maybe harsh, some could say, but sure, a penalty nonetheless is justified. But that's my take.
I kind of disagree a little with you on a couple points here. I mostly do agree that if we are to place a percentage of blame on both, Max would have more of it than Hamilton. But I am more of an opinion that this was a pure racing incident because in the sense that both drivers were justified in like really defending or trying to keep that position. Like from Max's defense, it's like from his perspective, his tires were at the right temperature, his brakes were at the right temperature, he was at full racing speed, whereas Hamilton, who had just joined the track, he kind of definitely would have expected that Hamilton would be braking earlier, because his tires are cold, his brakes are cold and everything. So like if you take a read through the stewards document, what they kind of say, or at least that's my interpretation of it from what I read, is that they are basically saying that Max shouldn't had tried the overtake at all at turn 1. That's what it pretty much sounds like.
Yeah, he should have let
him I do kind of I kind of disagree with that, because if that's the case, if they're going to penalize people like trying these brave moves, I think that can be an issue. But I mean it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Like 3 plays grid penalty is not that bad. In fact, I think it might come off as an advantage for Max, because I think he anyways needs to change his engine. Yeah. So it was not a deal breaker, like something similar to like giving a 10-second penalty to Hamilton during the Silverstone crash. So it's not too bad, but I feel that this probably didn't warrant a penalty, or at least like maybe penalty points, definitely, like for causing a collision, but I'm not sure if a proper grid penalty was the right thing over here.
I feel like we've said this over a couple of episodes now, that penalties should definitely be subjective. Because going into an incident, it's not one person's fault, right? I mean, I guess like what we both of us agree on is the fact that both were trying to hold off onto their positions, and that's what led to what it led to. Now, if that's what we are saying, that both of them tried to, like Hamilton wanted to be ahead and Max wanted to be ahead, then that's both parties at fault. Now, who's more at fault gets more penalty, but at the end of the day, sort of both should get something.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess the world's going to be divided on the fact that what sort of penalty should or should not have been given. And folks, to be honest, like we want to hear from you, like which side do you lean on if you do have a preference. But I mean, let's take some closing mark on this main event and then move on, because I think this discussion is going to be all across the internet, and I don't want to give it too much footage than it.
I think most people are kind of bored by it.
Yeah, totally, man.
Right? Like,
me too.
I mean, especially like for me, myself as well, I'm kind of exhausted by all this chaos that happens every time these two guys come together. I mean, I want to enjoy the race. I don't want to get into the, politics of everything that goes around. It's just not worth spending my energy on it. This.
Because I feel like yesterday was more about definitely McLaren. Yesterday was more about individuals, in the sense like Perez trying to put elbows out but being sort of an asshole. Bottas, oh man, what a race Bottas has had. I mean, I don't know how he's not the driver of the day. But like too many individualistic wins yesterday. And I want to move away from this whole Max versus Ham thing. So, talking about McLaren, GP2 engine 4 years back.
Oh man, I'm sure Alonso is regretting his comments and leaving the team right now, like sitting in the Alpine.
What about Sainz?
It could be me. Sainz as well, right? Yep. Yeah. I mean, McLaren, like simply awesome. Like where they were just back a couple years ago and where they are now is brilliant. And I think Zach Brown has been instrumental in this whole venture of McLaren getting where they have, because as far as I understand, he doesn't partake in any technical aspects of things. He leaves that entirely to Andreas. But he has been instrumental in getting all the sponsorships. Like, if you see the car, like, it's filled with sponsors, right? Like, McLaren, I think, probably has the most amount of sponsors, and it is clear that the money that he's bringing in is going at the right places. Because I've heard this a lot, I've read this a lot, that a lot of drivers have said that the McLarens are really difficult to overtake because they somehow have this really good speed right off the corners, like getting out of the corners, which makes overtakes very difficult with them. So definitely, it's, even Hamilton wasn't able to overtake Lando, right, during the sprint qualification race. Uh, I mean, yeah, they have made some really good gains. I think they totally deserve today's result.
Yeah, and it was exhilarating seeing the excitement, like the whole Team Papaya and the whole Orange
Yeah.
gang on the
Yeah.
pit wall once the whole thing was over. Yeah, it was just such a positive vibe.
Shui.
The Shui was back. Yes, the Shui was back.
Yeah. It seemed like Bottas was, just standing behind, hiding. He was like, okay, I'm happy to
I gotta be
a
here.
part of this.
Sure, yes, I'll join you guys up there. Don't forget me, sort of thing. But I feel like Zach's a very great enabler. I mean, we joke about Alonso GP2 engine and stuff, but I think Alonso's experience has a very vital role to play in McLaren's comeback sort of thing. The positive vibe that Zach has been able to put together in the whole, the anti-Haas vibe is what I like to call it. And that's getting them to places. The other thing I sort of had an epiphany of was, I feel like Red Bull has some very good race start training, because Daniel had, wow, what a brilliant race start yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes. And then again, as you mentioned, right, like overtaking them. I remember Max coming onto radio at some point and he was like, it's so difficult getting up to him.
Yeah.
It took Lewis so many laps to get past Lando before Max took him out. But yeah, all in all, McLaren was just at its best yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm really happy to see Ricciardo back on the top step of the podium.
Yeah.
I think the last race he won was Monaco, right? I think back in 2018. Right?
Definitely 2018. At least maybe Monaco, but like he was on the podium.
Yeah.
But that his last podium was Red Bull whenever he was.
Yeah. So I mean, awesome. Like that's. I think he did. He was on the podium with Renault as well, if I remember. Like he did get one podium, I guess, third. I remember.
But a win is
Shui is. Yeah, that's true. Reserved for wins, right? Should be reserved for wins, I guess. But yeah, that guy didn't have a great season till now. But I think in the second half of the season, he's kind of getting his grip. I think finally he is home in that car.
I want to know what happened to him. Sorry, but I want to know what happened to him in this August break, because his post-race with David Coulthard, he was like, the August breaks definitely helped me. And he just left it at that. So I wonder, did he do some power yoga or meditate, or just did his dirt bike at an extreme level sort of thing, which is pumped him up.
Yeah. I don't know what, but ever since he is back, he's really back, right? Like, it feels like the old Daniel is back. Like, the one back we saw in Red Bull, fighting Max and giving him a hard time. It was a repeat of that for me today, with just the start itself, right? Like, I had thought, honestly, that this was basically a race gifted to Verstappen by Mercedes, because they entirely fucked up Bottas's race with the engine substitution bullshit. He could have easily won the race if not for changing his engine.
He won, man.
Yeah, I think they were just basically defending against Perez, because Perez changed his engine and he's on a fresher one. So Anyways, whatever. But yeah, I thought that Max would just take it away and just win because there's nobody to stop him. But it was amazing. Like Ricciardo just went off. Like wow, that turn one was just awesome.
Lap 1 and lap 27 is where, like, I'm guessing the peak excitement came about, because you knew McLaren now has free reign, and lap 1 you knew, oh wow, he's leading into the race. And I think he led every lap, right? Like, he's been, even with pit stop included, he's sort of in quotes led lap 1 through win.
No, he was behind for a couple laps. So I think when basically before these guys crashed and everything, for a couple laps he was behind.
Okay.
But yeah, still, nonetheless, like, yeah, just awesome. Lando as well, he played his role perfectly today. Like, he kind of supported Daniel. I mean, there were instances when he came onto the radio and, cheekily said that, is this the pace that we are going to follow?
That was again coded message for, can we please swap? I know I can win this.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he didn't attempt anything that, might jeopardize both their races. And still maintained the second position. So 1-2 was just awesome for McLaren, I guess. I think it's by now it's pretty evident McLaren is going to be the P3 team in constructors. So yeah.
I feel like his maturity is also starting to show up well now with Lando. He sort of now realizes the teammate contribution, because Daniel's played his teammate part whenever Lando needed that, and he's given him that switcheroo and all of it. Today he knew he's that cheeky message, he wanted to give it a shot, but he knew he had to stay behind.
I think it was worth a try for him.
Yeah, totally. And then his post race too, like when Coulthard asked him, like, would you have wanted to be P1? If he would have said no, I would have judged him, but I like that he was very honest, because who wouldn't want to be, right? So he's like, totally.
Yeah.
But I know I'm here for the long haul, so I'm totally happy with the 1-2, and he at least was genuinely happy visibly. So the maturity is definitely.
Yeah. Did you notice one thing in yesterday's race? It pretty much felt like each team, the pairs were driving together in some form, like both, except for of course Mercedes and Red Bull. But other than that, it seemed that way. Like Ferraris were together, McLarens were together, the Alpines were also somewhat together.
Yeah.
There was an Alpine and Aston Martin sandwich going on for a while, and then there was some William got introduced as well in there.
They were poking each other around.
Yeah, it was quite funny. I mean, I think Vettel, basically, I think Vettel was ahead. I think it was P11, right? When he started, or P12, something like that. And I think there was a moment between Lance and Vettel, and because of which Vettel had to concede, and then 3 other people like straight up over.
He lost 4. He lost 4 positions there, man. So post race, Vettel's like, I knew my race was over on lap 1, and I'm like, dude, you have 70, like whatever, 52 52 laps to go. But I think he was being bullied a bit yesterday. I feel like Lance was being elbows out. Ocon at one point, I remember, was like a bit pushy.
Oh yeah. I think Ocon got a penalty for that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a bit aggressive and for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to come back to race starts. And I know we were talking about this before recording, which is Hamilton's, for a change, great race start on the hards, right?
Amazing. I mean, when he started yesterday, I was so impressed. Like, first of all, if you remember, before the race started, there was this radio message where Max's engineer tells him that Hamilton's in on hards, and Max is like, that's an interesting choice, and laughs it off. And at that point as well, I was a little skeptical, like, why is he, on hards? It's very weird. Like, nobody generally chooses hards for starts, but
Right.
I don't know what, he was just able to make it work. Like, this is the magic, right? Like, it's just weird. Like, this tires just turned on and he just went ahead. Like, it was creepy, very honestly.
I mean, that's how at times you see him as a 7 times world champion. Otherwise, I just hate him. But like, those are the times when that experience and that, those skills just ooze out.
Yeah. I think, like, possibly he could have also won the race if not for the crash. Honestly speaking, like, the way he was driving, I wouldn't be surprised if he would have won the race.
Yeah, because I mean, like, over time, Mercedes have always had an upper hand at Monza. They've dominated there. And the way he was actually going, he was already P3 up on Lando at one point. Red Bull butchered their pit stop. Totally. That was a debacle of a pit stop. 11.1 seconds.
Terrible. Come on. I think they basically spent all the time they saved through ages till now in their pit stop.
On one pit stop. I mean, and if there was a millisecond faster pit stop on Mercedes, Hamilton would have totally been ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, he totally could have won this race. And Toto, I think, even made that comment snarkily that Max wanted to butcher the race because he knew if Hamilton would have been ahead, he would have won the race.
Yeah. I mean, anyways, let's not talk about that.
Let's not go back there again.
Let's get back to, I think, Aston Martin. I think we were talking about Vettel. So, Vettel, I think it's weird a little. I think with all the rumors that are going on, I hope there are rumors where people are talking about he might retire or whatever. But it seems like there are some contract negotiations going on. And I have this feeling that anytime Vettel is involved with that, he somehow starts performing badly on the track. Because if you remember Ferrari last year, before his announcement as well, and it just seems like he has suddenly lost his bearing weirdly. Like, he was doing excellent right up till, just a couple races back, and then he got that disqualification from P2, and ever since then he seems like really off balance to me. I don't know what's going on with him.
I feel he's just missing Kimi. I mean, if you look at it, he's been performing so bad in the last two races and Kimi's not around. So next season, I don't know what's going to happen with Vettel with no Kimi around. I guess they'll probably spend Monday through Thursday together, and then Vettel will come to the racetrack.
But Lance was amazing.
Lance was having a good day, yes.
Yeah. I think he was able to defend his position really well. I think Alonso tried a lot, but I think he wasn't able to get ahead of him at all. That was,
I mean, he put his Aston Martin right after the top three fighters, right? So like, he's P7 all the way up there. Got the upper hand on the Aston Alpine fight.
Yeah, pretty awesome. I think it seems to me like, he like hibernates for a while. That's what I've seen with Lance, like he performs terribly for like a couple of races, and then suddenly he wakes up, he performs well for like one or two races, and then again back to his hibernation. So he because I think throughout the season Vettel has kind of had the upper hand over him right up till Kimi went missing. And let's see. I think Aston Martin are probably, it's weird. I think they fell back in performance the most as compared to all other teams from last year, right? I think the floor changes really messed up their whole thing, I guess.
No, I was gonna say, like, it's been interesting with individualistic performances, right? Like Stroll, when even Latifi for that matter. I mean, Williams, all in all, since the day they've gotten those double points at Hungary. They've been killing it, man. Like, something's gotten
Totally.
into them. Russell finishing P9 again into the points. Latifi
Yeah.
almost missing it at P11. So, like, both of them
Yeah.
are above Aston, Alpine, Alpha.
Yeah.
No one cares about Haas, but
No, seriously, like Latifi as well. Like earlier, I never paid attention to him because he was always like right just ahead of Mazepin generally, and so. But suddenly, I think ever since Hungary, he's really like extracting as much as he can from the car, just like Russell is. And Williams suddenly has become really good. And I'm kind of glad that Albon is getting the chance next year to drive the Williams because it seems like Williams might be a good, midfield team for next year. What do you think?
Totally. I mean, I think with the new management change and the whole switch on the board with their new tech advisor and the whole shebang basically. They've turned things around for themselves. I mean, point in case how they've been performing. Sure, Russell's been lifting stuff, but no, I mean he's a great driver and he is, but Latifi is also pulling the weight as much since a few races now. And beyond those two, it's much kudos to the car as well. So Albon, I feel, sits there perfectly. He's not a bad driver. I think he's had too many unfortunate events with himself in Red Bull that's maybe shattered his confidence. But we've seen Pierre bounce back so well. I'm just hoping man Albon gets that bounce back at that Williams.
Yeah, I think he might. Like, as we said, he never really got a proper chance at driving an F1 car because going directly into Red Bull, in your rookie year is not a joke, and especially mid-season, I can't even imagine what it must have been for him.
And then being spun around by Hamilton twice.
Mercilessly killed, man. Like that poor kid. He was just trying to, impress Horner. Hamilton just was like punted him off. Anyways. But I'm happy that Albon kind of is getting finally a chance at Williams, and I hope he does well. Talking about individual performances, right? I think you're right in the sense that this race was kind of good that with these championship leaders off the field, a lot of other people got the limelight that they kind of deserved. As we talked about Latifi, same with Gio as well. I mean, he messed up definitely, but I think he was doing so well this whole weekend. And then that move that he did with Sainz,
I mean, he could have still saved it if he would have joined a bit more cautiously. I think he tried to join and just tried to get onto the racing line very fast. I think he probably could have been off the racing line to save that tap from was it Leclerc or was it Carlos? I forget who tapped him.
I think it was Carlos, right?
Yeah,
I too don't remember.
But
I think again, Ferraris were just
so
ahead of each other.
with the tap on Ferrari, he could have saved himself. But you're absolutely on bang there. The sprint quali P7, if I remember right. Yeah. But
P8.
Yeah, P8. So he was up there. And I think he's being challenged by the question on his seat going into next season. So he's gotten that boost of adrenaline rush to prove himself. And I think point in case, right? Like the first few months into the podcast, we've ignored Gio completely. But since the last two races, we have been talking about him. So he's definitely doing something because we are quite unforgiving to bad drivers.
As the internet has dubbed him the Italian Jesus,
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, he's a good driver, but I think what works against him is that he hasn't had a single performance that outshines him. Like, in the sense that, think about George Russell, think about Pierre Gasly, think about any other driver that you think is the next best thing at the field. Giovinazzi Singh has, for some reason or another, has always had some bad luck, either from the team or created by himself, like today. So yeah,
I feel like even Alpha's not as well positioned as you'd hope to get something from him. Like his P8 this weekend on Saturday was actually a surprising thing. So I feel like even Alpha needs to probably up their game so that their drivers are better positioned. Like all throughout the season so far, Kimi's also not been able to extract as much as you would hope from like a driver like Kimi. I mean, and he's obviously trying to push the car much. Last two races, Kubica is, he's there. He's limping today.
I mean, I don't blame him. It's not easy to just get into the car and start driving.
But I'm saying, like, why get him?
Yeah,
get Mega Hulk. Mega Hulk's he's sitting. I'm pretty sure if you take a snapshot of his home, he's sitting right next to the phone, waiting for a phone call. Come in.
That's true.
Just give him a call.
They could have, so it's for the money, right? Again, because their sponsor, the Polish petroleum company, what's Orlen, right? I guess.
Orlen,
yeah. So they want, obviously, Kubica in that seat, so they can market that. So
But what about us? What about us? We want Mega Hulk there. But I don't wanna. I also wanna come back to what at least I feel was driver of the day yesterday. Bottas, coming from all the way back. He's had some amazing overtakes yesterday because, first of all, there aren't many overtaking spots on this track. The track's a bit narrow. Either you use that slipstream and get around on the outside, or just try to be super aggressive on the chicanes.
And the DRS is basically useless, right? Because all the cars pretty much don't have a rear wing here. Like, have you seen those rear wings?
Exactly.
They're so skinny, so thin. It's like, the DRS is almost useless. It gives just 5 miles per hour of an advantage to you as compared to
they're long straights, right? So there's no time for it. But that man, what fun is it to say, like De La Rogia chicane? I mean, and so much action happened there yesterday. But coming back to Bottas, for me, he's the driver of the day. It was like, I think, did we already record this? But we were like, Mercedes gave him a mega fuck you by putting him to the back of the whole pack. And then he came back with a bigger fuck you, like, okay, I'm P3.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, wow, right? Like, most people were struggling, like, overtaking others on the track. And Bottas was, I don't know, he was just overtaking people like it was nothing. It was weird to see that. Like, he was just on fire. I think now he is just driving and having time of his life because he knows that this is the last year at Mercedes.
Another Finn having fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he's 2 weeks notice, man. That's pretty much what I can say.
And on the counter side, I mean, Perez was trying to overplease his seat onto Red Bull. It feels like it's over when someone has to tell you as an experienced driver, give the position back.
Yeah. It was, it felt like he was a little desperate and he was driving dirty somewhat yesterday, cutting corners. It's pretty much a known rule that you have to give back the position when you gain it outside the track. Like, your engineer shouldn't have to tell you that.
Charles versus Bottas. Charles did that splendidly.
Yeah, Charles gave that back. And I mean, if you have a pace advantage, you will be able to overtake the other person anyways. You can use the slipstream. That's just dirty driving. I mean, he deserved the 5-second penalty. In fact, I would go ahead and say he deserved probably more than that. But yeah.
I see where the preferences are leaning now. In his post race, he came over and said the track's quite narrow, so there isn't much room for overtakes. So there was either I stay behind or cut corners, and I chose to do that. Yeah. Sure, being a dick about it and being arrogant. Sure. Yeah, I guess this one's gonna be marked explicit because I've been quite explicit about it. But talking about let's call it stupid people this time, being safe. David Coulthard, man, I was just so angry at that bloke. Come on, British media, and the thing is, right, like because of him now, I hate British bias and British media more. Like, come on, man.
It was disrespectful, right? Entirely. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead and give people context on why we are angry at David Coulthard.
Right. I mean, it was so disrespectful when you're interviewing the person for P3 position, and the second or third question that you ask them is about your teammate. Yeah, second question, right? Yeah. When you ask about your teammate's crash, I mean, what the hell, like, have some respect. Give him the right limelight that he deserves. He's like literally cut through the field from P20 to P3. And, instead of asking about how did you manage this, feat, he's asking him, have you seen the crash on the screens? I mean, the answer Bottas gave was just no, but if it were me, I would have said, just fuck you, man. Like, like how am I supposed to watch the crash when I was just driving an entire race and, kicking ass out on the,
You haven't watched the crash? This is Hamilton F1. Oh, sorry, no, FIA. Sorry. But, yeah. And the salt to the wound sort of thing was, after that question, they kept playing that crash on the big screen behind him instead of playing his footage of either overtaking or, winning. I'm like, come on, dude. And I'm pretty sure this is not the first time he's done it. I don't remember his other specific instances, but I think like Reddit was trolling DC quite a lot for what he did. So I'm pretty sure he's done quite a lot in his past.
Yeah. Well, anyways, like, these days, I've kind of started, turning off my TV after the race ends because the programming overall, I feel, is somewhat on a decline in terms of the questions they ask after interviews and stuff. I think they can do a better job at it.
Here's why. Yes. Wasn't he the one who also interviewed Serena Williams on Max's win?
Oh my god. Oh yes, that was cringe, man. Oh man, that was cringe.
Right?
That thing. Yes. Yeah, that thing was just weird. I didn't understand what that was. In fact, Serena Williams she felt so awkward. It was so
obviously that you're asking a tennis champion to give driving instructions, man.
What advice is she going to give Hamilton, man?
Max, but I mean, oh man. And speaking of douchebags, I don't wanna steal limelight from you. Go ahead and speak about Toto.
Oh man, that guy, every time his face comes on the screen, like my mood is ruined for the next 5 minutes. This asshole still doesn't know how to wear a fucking mask. I mean, dude, please. The mask is supposed to go on your face and cover your face and your nose, not your chin. You don't breathe from your chin.
At least do it for the cameras. At least do it for the cameras. You can do whatever you want, but at least for the cameras. Because at the end of the day, I feel like these people do influence so many folks.
Yeah. It's just stupidity. I mean, it's so weird that people kind of admire him in so many senses. It's so weird. Like, if you remember recently, there was investigation with Lance.
Whatever happened to
Lawrence Stroll, sorry. Yeah. Lawrence Stroll and Toto for conflict of interest for, having shares in Aston Martin and all that.
I mean,
obviously nothing's going to happen.
Sure.
Exactly. I mean, nothing's going to happen. After all, Lawrence is a billionaire.
So it was just like the August break entertainment for F1 fans. Yeah, we're not gonna
Exactly.
race. Why not just have some drama going on?
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm tired of the drama, of all the drama, and I enjoyed today's race because
Yeah.
it was just awesome fun. With Max and Hamilton gone, all these other drivers really got the good limelight that they deserved. McLaren did so well, and so did Bottas.
I loved Daniel's celebration
Yeah.
in the car. Like he knew where the camera was, so he was, celebrating into the car camera, and just that ecstatic.
Yeah.
Overall, this season's been amazing. I'm hoping. I think we are now just past the halfway mark of the total number of races. More than halfway, obviously.
More than halfway, yeah.
We still have quite a lot of races to go. The triple headers have somewhat faded with some of the tracks backing out. But the championship is still tight. The rest of the teams are buckling up very well. Nikita's being a douche at the back. There's quite a lot of things happening. Every race is its own excitement. So, folks, stay tuned. If you haven't liked, I don't know how many times we have to tell you, but yeah, no rush. Like it at your own pace. We know you like what you're listening to if you're all the way to this minute into the podcast. So, no rush. As long as you're listening, you're having fun is what we care about more. Share it with your friends if you are having fun. Let them have the fun too. And until next week, where we'll be with a special episode, Fireside Chat. Stay tuned. This is F1 Fan Fiction signing off.
Bye-bye.